send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect, and I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. So this long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel's security will no longer be threatened. The state of Israel is strong, and it will live and thrive forever. Whether we like it or not, this has been one of the greatest wartime presidents. This has been one of the greatest wartime presidents. And cigars and champagne, who the hell cares about that? Thousands of years of persecution and repression, and to emerge with the heart of David, it has been, some say, a miracle. What you've done is a miracle. Look at your size. Look at your chances when it all started. And you know, if you think about it, you are safer today, stronger today, and more respected today than at any time in the history of Israel. Think of it. So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build a legacy that all the people of this region can be proud of. New bonds of friendship, cooperation, and commerce will join Tel Aviv to Dubai, Haifa to Beirut, Jerusalem to Damascus, and from Israel to Egypt, from Saudi Arabia to Qatar, from India to Pakistan, from Indonesia to Iraq, from Syria to Bahrain, Turkey to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates to Oman, and Armenia to Azerbaijan. We are going to have hope, harmony, opportunity, and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. Israel, America, and all of the nations of the Middle East will soon be safer, stronger, greater, and more prosperous than ever before. I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger, and more loving than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the Middle East.
Welcome to a very special Spiritual Sunday on a Wednesday. How are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm good. I'm just absolutely stunned and shocked that I'm not seeing video after video after video after video throughout all of the quote-unquote Christian channels, especially the ones that think they're getting harpazoed. I mean, we've had more prophetic content, more prophetic action that's happened in the last week than ever before, and at least in the last 3,000 years, or 2,000 years, I should say.
We sure have. And what we want to do tonight is go through and look at what is it we're looking for as the very first early war, signs that the Great Tribulation is kicking off. And as you can see, we've got a poll up tonight. Please, everybody, participate. We've got 4 different options up there for you. And we'll see if the poll moves at all as we go along. Maybe some people are waiting to get a little bit more insight as to what's going on. But no really wrong answer up there. Go ahead and make your feelings known as far as what you expect to see as the Great Tribulation kickoff. But what we're going to be doing tonight is going in and showing some details that you've probably never seen talked about before. We're going to do a breakdown on the Restrainer tonight and who/what it is. And this might actually move the needle as far as where you see the Great Tribulation kicking off. We've got some new stuff to share about this.
Yeah, well, if anybody's not paying attention to the prophetic signs and the season that we are in, we started off by showing a clip of I kid you not, the American quote unquote president was in the Knesset in Jerusalem, right, proclaiming peace and safety and security for the Middle East. I mean, we've been waiting for this moment for what, since 70 AD, roughly, since the temple was destroyed. I mean, I'm shocked. I have seen a couple of videos, but it's been really, really quiet, right? So not only that, proclaiming the quote unquote golden age, uh, so many different buzzwords, the builder, the covenant. They signed, Jason, did they not just sign a covenant with many leaders?
Yeah, over in Egypt, and there was some big ceremonial light show at the pyramids,
Mm,
and a
yeah.
lot of things coming together, right?
Well, that led off. So prior to the trip, the clips started to come out of a rave that was taking place in front of the pyramids. They had the capstone all lit up, and the sigil of Azazel was being broadcasted out like 1,000 points of light. Tons and tons and tons of satanic parabolic symbolism has been being shown to the world right now, and it was insane. Not only that, the rhetoric coming out from the Trump camp just got louder, stronger, stronger. I have never seen anything the way that they. We're not going to have time. It would take us probably 6 hours to go through everything. But go yourself, watch the footage, the way they carried themselves from the plane through the Knesset building, which is basically like the White House in Israel. But we all know that the spiritual capital of the world was Israel until the tribes were scattered to the four corners of the earth, and there was a new covenant made. And we're now in the time period where they're trying to bring back the old covenant. They're going to build a temple. They want to start sacrificing animals again for sins. They have done the red heifer. If you haven't heard, there's many people going around with little packages of ash, and they're saying that this is the purifying ash from the burning of the pure red heifer, which coincidentally came from not too far from here, just north of where Jason and I sit right now in Texas. So there's been some serious footprints leading us towards the Great Tribulation. Now, there's certain words we can and cannot say here on YouTube. The censorship is still out of hand. If you've tuned in here, amazing that you're able to find this content. Jason and I, we don't sell anything. We ask that if you know anybody that might be interested in this content, that you share this podcast with them. We don't get any help from any social media platforms. And what we would like you to do is also, if you're interested in getting involved more, in the description box below us is links to Telegram, to Zoom, or any other platforms. You can email us, you can get in touch with us, you can share with us what you're seeing out there, because we're pretty much sandboxed off. We're on a giant beach here that they've called the internet, but Jason and I have been put into this tiny sandbox, rightfully so. They are very terrified of what we have to say. You know, another thing, Jason, before I throw it back to you, as I noticed the poll numbers changing, we've got Declaration of Peace and Safety, Damascus in a Ruinous Heap, World War III, Red Horse Rider, and White Horse Rider. We go 44%, and then the other three are trailing at 19%. So I have seen the numbers change. So what we're here looking at tonight is the loud statements of peace and safety in Jerusalem. Now, many people will look at the whole world as the stage, but Jerusalem was set up as the eternal capital. It was. It will always be what Yahweh hath chosen and created, but it ended up becoming the whore of Babylon. It became Jezebel, the great harlot, tied together with Rome, the city on seven hills. Israel, Jerusalem is also the city upon seven hills. So a lot of prophetic events do actually need to take place there. The two witnesses preach in the streets. I know I'm getting ahead of myself there. The temple, the reconstruction, the destruction of the Dome of the Rock is all going to happen there. It's sadly not going to happen here in Austin. It would be great. We wouldn't have to go too far. But as we see it now, everything seems to be taking place in Jerusalem. And that's why this immediate special broadcast was set up today, because Jason and I see the alarms going off. We see the prophetic messages, and we don't see anyone else covering it. So here we are. We wanted to jump on here and let you know that shots have gone out throughout heaven and earth, that this peace and safety deal, this covenant, this dealer that dealeth treacherously has made a deal.
Yeah, well, you mentioned links in the description box, and there's a few more that I want to point out. We have been deep into studying end times eschatology for many, many years now. And we have a true Hebrew calendar, which is a spreadsheet that we've been keeping, I believe, since 2020. And we have an end times eschatology chart that graphs out the Great Tribulation, each step of it with scriptures. And that's a big image that you can actually zoom into, and you can look up those scriptures on each one of these cards that are on it. We'll be going through all that. What we're going to be doing tonight is adding super fine detail to the very beginning of that chart. All right, so that chart begins with the seven seals that is during the time of Jacob's trouble. A lot of people mislabel these things and try to flip around the Great Tribulation. We've been using ChatGPT to help organize and do research on these topics, and implemented it again today in the research for this podcast. You'll be seeing some of the things that helped organize and point out and confirm. So we get to use it as an independent third body that double checks us, so that we don't just run away with saying, well, this is this and that's that. We actually get some confirmation that the things that we're lining up are actually lining up. And so we've got resources. If anybody wants access to the ChatGPT's conversation that I've been having with it, where you get to see all the research if you want to go deeper, or if you just want to start using some of the cues, some of the prompts, questions that we use to go and do your own research. Like I said earlier, we are going to be sharing something tonight on the chronology, the end times eschatology of the Great Tribulation that you're not going to hear from anybody else in the world, yet we can back it up with evidence. We're going to be going through the interlinear, the lexicon. We're going to be looking at the actual Greek words involved. We're going to show you that the interpretation that I'm going to say 99.99999% of people have regarding the Restrainer, we're going to be able to show you a new perspective that, the Bible's been mistranslated. And all you have to do is go back to the original Greek and see what it says. And we're going to propose a totally different idea for the Restrainer than what probably all of you have heard before. And it's up to you to check with, identify whether or not you agree it's true. And so that's going to help identify the actual beginning events of the Great Tribulation. This really fine detail we're going to get into as far as what is it that we're looking for first. We put up 4 different options on the screen, and hopefully most of you will be pointed in on the correct one by the time we get done with this.
So just to recap, 2,000 years ago, the Messiah, the king of the kingdom on earth, was here, was walking around, and because everybody who was reading the scriptures thought they knew exactly what was going to take place and how it would be fulfilled, the majority of people missed it, and they hung him on a cross and killed him, right? He did rise back to life again and has now been given complete rulership over life and death, right? Through his sacrifice. We all have the way to salvation, right? But everybody thought, oh, it's going to be like this, or it's going to happen like that. And so what we want you to understand is when we look at the scriptures, we're trying not to follow the worldly path. We're actually looking at what they say and the references that they make. And also we knew that if the scriptures warned that if you changed anything or did anything to this, that your name will be taken out of the book of life and you would be eternally damned in hellfire. We know that when it says that, that means that people are going to try to manipulate it. So with the advent or the, the creation of these tools that we have now, ChatGPT being one, and one thing I want to point out that Jason did is that you also have to triple check ChatGPT. It gets a lot of stuff wrong, right? But if you correct it, it will lock that into its memory. So other than that, we use these tools and we're putting things back together from what we see, as well as, we ask to be led in the will of the Creator, right? We've done that since the beginning. That's why we don't use the name Jesus here, right? It literally means earth pig. If you want to check me, the word sus means pig, and the word geo, or short form to the word G-E, right, is earth. Geo sus means earth pig. So we just want you to know that we're always guided. We're always asking the correct names, the correct path for the will of the Creator and his chosen Messiah to be done, not ours. And what we find sometimes is shocking, and it catches us. And so again, buckle up, fasten your seatbelts, get ready to take an adventure. We're going to be going through some information. Again, Jason, as far as I know, you're the only content creator that's chronologically put the Great Tribulation, TGT for short, in chronological order as it is written in the Holy Scriptures. You're the only one. Everybody else completely inverts it, flips it upside down, puts the end at the beginning, puts the beginning at the end. Everybody's off on some vain imagination, thinking that they're going to get raptured because some witch told John Darby that this is what she saw in some witchcraft dream when she was probably doing some kind of seance dance around a fire, right? What you're here to say is just the plain, simple truth. It's not sprinkled with gold dust. It's given to you like a locust in the desert for you on the other side of the screen to actually look at and introspect. And once the truth is revealed, we are all going to be judged for how we respond to it. And most importantly, when the breath of life leaves our bodies, what we have done, we will be judged for. No matter the fact that you think that because you believe in someone named Jesus Christ, that you are going to be forgiven for everything. Well, I've got news for you. You are going to pay for everything you've done, and you'll be forgiven for as much as you've forgiven and repented of your ways. Now, we're going to be getting into some stuff, books coming forward. Jason, this is the end of my rant. Make sure you're tuned in. We've got some new Maccabean, not Maccabees, but a new book from the Ethiopian Bible is bringing out more information that you're not going to want to miss, and it's scary. It's terrifying. If you don't think that you are saved and that you have repentance to do, you're probably on the right path. If you on the other side of the screen are one of these rapture community people that think you're going to ride back on a white horse with Christ because you said some name, you are in serious trouble. So make sure again that you're subscribed here to the Awake Souls YouTube channel, because we've got some very exciting stuff coming that it's terrifying, but it's really the most important thing that we could possibly ever share. And I'm looking forward to that, Jason. So that's all I have for the intro. I don't know if you want to get into your content.
Yeah, let's get into it. And so this is the End Times Eschatology chart. You can find the link to it in the description box. And it's a big file. You can zoom in on these different things. And let's go ahead and show everybody the beginning of this. Oh, it's going to freak out on me. Come on.
The large file.
It is a large file, but it's freaking out. All right. Oh, each time it starts to show up, it decides to go away. What am I going to do here? Well, we'll switch to the calendar first, and hopefully that gets caught up in memory. The calendar, we are currently at October 15th right here. And the vast majority of the world thinks that we are past the trumpets, we're past the Day of Atonement, and that we're past tabernacles. And we showed the reason why we had to add a 13th month last year. That was so that we could keep Passover in the Lamb in the month of Aries. And by doing so, that means that the 7th new moon in trumpets is October 23rd. That's coming up in just a few days. So as far as a Great Tribulation is concerned, we've always been looking for a trumpet's beginning. And that's, like I said, just a few days away. And, if it's not this year, we'll be looking for it during the trumpet season next year. But trumpets will be October 23rd, and that means that these first 10 days here are the 10 days of awe, they call them. That means that the Day of Atonement is going to be November 1st at sundown, wherever you are on Earth, and it's going to finish November 2nd, wherever you are on Earth. You want to tell people what the Day of Atonement is? Is this a big festival, brother?
Yeah, so it's very important. And another thing I just noticed, there's no link to the eschatology chart in the description box, because I would have opened it and screen shared it myself. We're going to have to get that back in there. So the Day of Atonement happens to be one of the most holy, if not the most holy day of the year, as it was laid out for the Hebrews in Leviticus through Moses and Aaron. That is the day where we actually don't drink water or eat. Now, we don't judge anybody for not doing these things, nor do we go around saying if you don't keep the commandments and the law that you are going to be damned to hell. So on the Day of Atonement, we do it because we want to make a physical action to show our faith and our belief that the Creator gave us this opportunity through His Son for salvation, and we still want to honor that day. It's the most holy day of the year, and we use it for reflection. Sometimes we stream. We've had a wild variety of actions that we took during that day. Right? It's quite a very special day, and you go without water and food from sundown the day before to sundown that next day on the Day of Atonement. And a lot of people will say it's the Feast of Atonement, like it's the most inverted thing you could possibly say, because you don't eat or drink anything. And it's a very, very special day. It was the day where the heifer was burnt and the ashes were used to make atonement for all of the people. And the book of life is sealed after that day, and your deeds go into it.
It'll be the day of the great white throne judgment. The book of life is opened on trumpets. You're supposed to use this whole 10 days for repentance. It's closed on the Day of Atonement, and then your name's either written in the book of life or it's not. And then we have tabernacles from November 6th at sundown to the 8th day will end on November 14th at sundown. So you may have heard some so-called watchmen out there say, well, the Feast of Trumpets, they gave a Gregorian day, right? And then they said, well, on the Julian calendar, it's this. And then somebody else came along and said, on the Enoch calendar, it's this. Well, double check with all those calendars to see whether or not they have trumpets actually on a new moon, right? You have to be able to cite the new moon. That is how you spot trumpets. The Gregorian, the Enoch, they're not going to have it. They're not going to have it on a new moon, right? Yeah, so this is the true Hebrew calendar. Let's see if we can get that graphic to work for us now. And it's not opening.
It's not in the description box either, which I was pretty surprised to see. Used to be.
It's in there.
Oh yeah, which section of it's in there?
Just after the 10 fundamental truths.
True nature of reality graphic.
No.
Okay, well that's what's directly after the. Then we have the official eschatology chart. Do you want to screen share it on my page? Or do you want to try opening it from the description box? Thank you. I did find it. I stand corrected.
I got to make sure that this.
Okay, well, that's what's directly after. I have it on. I definitely have it on. It's a nice chart. It's clean. You've got cards. You've got the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and then the 7 bowls, all correctly put chronologically as it was written into the scriptures, not taken a little here and out of place there, but put back into its spot with Jacob's trouble, the 2 witnesses, the 3.5 years of the beast, And then Christ's millennial reign after the return and the triumphal entry there.
Yeah, so here we are now. I was able to open it up off of the Google Drive. And look at what we have first here. What's the first thing that shows up on the end times eschatology chart?
It's Jacob's trouble.
Yep, that's this heading right here. And Jacob's trouble includes a timeline of events that the first one of them is the white horse rider. Right? There's an opening of 7 seals. That's what happens first in the book of Revelation. This is all Revelation chapter 2. And the very first seal is the white horse rider. So I want people to start thinking, if you voted for the red horse, all right, didn't you skip something? All right, World War III, if we're going to say that the red horse is the one that takes away peace from the world, and that now all of a sudden we have World War, well, what happened before it? Right? The white horse rider rode. And so we're going to be getting into detail regarding the white horse rider because there's a lot of confusion regarding it. And let's go ahead and start by doing a little study on this white horse rider. There are 2 competing readings of the white horse rider, Revelation 6:2. Christ, the gospel conquest, that's the view that we have. So the text hooks the white equals purity, victory language for Christ and the saints. That parallels Revelation 3:5 and 19:11 through 14. The crown in Greek is a Stephanos, and a Stephanos is the victor's wreath, fitting Christ's victorious conquest from Revelation 3:11 and 14:14. Conquering and to conquer equals Revelation's theme of the Lamb's saints overcoming from Revelation 5:5 and 12:11. So the theological fit is the Lamb opens the seals. His first act could be unleashing his own victorious advance. Example, the gospel victory during the birth pains of Matthew 24:14. It keeps the treacherous dealer Antichrist distinct, who arrives later to oppose or imitate. The challenge, the next 3 horsemen are judgments, war, famine, and death. If the first rider is Christ, the 4 are not a uniform quartet of calamities. Instead, the first is a righteous advance followed by a satanic backlash. All right, for the longest time, everybody thought the white horse rider was Christ, but if you've been on YouTube for probably the last 10 years, you've probably heard that the white horse rider is the treacherous dealer, right? The counter-Christ, the Antichrist. So this is the common evangelical reading of Revelation 6:2, that the 4 horsemen form a match set of judgments, making number 1, Christ break the set. So a crown was given to him. And that would be divine passive allowance and a bow. Not the word sword of his mouth, as in Revelation 19:15, suggests a lesser derivative, possibly deceptive ruler. Revelation 19's rider, clearly Christ, wears a diadema, royal diadems, and wears a sharp sword. Revelation 6 uses Stephanos and a bow, a different kit, different moment. Closely parallels Matthew 24 sequence, Christ's deception, wars, famine, death. The theological fit, the first seal unveils a counterfeit peace conquest, setting up the covenant with many and a later betrayal. So the workable synthesis for the timeline that we believe in, the one that we see in scriptures, we don't see Christ being conquered, right? In order for you to believe that the white horse rider is Satan, you're saying that Satan doesn't get conquered. Let's go ahead and take a look at Revelation 6:2. This is the interlinear Revelation 6:2, and it says, "And I looked, and behold, a white horse, and the one sitting on it having a bow, and was given to him a crown. You see here, Stephanos. So we're going to be doing this a bunch tonight. We're going to be looking at these words, what they actually mean. And so the Stephanos is a crown, a chaplet as a badge of royalty, a prize in public games, or a symbol of honor generally. Crown, apparently from the primary Stephanos, properly a wreath, garland awarded to a victor in the ancient athletic games like the Greek Olympics. So this crown is a victor's crown. Let's go on a little bit further. And he went forth overcoming, and that he might conquer. The word conquer here is conquer, overcome, prevail, get the victory, to subdue, conquer, overcome, prevail, carry off the victory, come off victorious. Is that what the Antichrist does? Can we say that the Antichrist is going to be the victor, the white horse rider victor? I don't say so, no.
No.
So, if you keep the white horse rider as Christ's victorious advance, not the Antichrist, we can structure birth pains like this. The white horse equals Christ's gospel conquest, right? This is the Stephanos, the victory from Revelation 2, which would correlate with Matthew 24:14, the gospel being preached to all the nations. Right, so this is an important thing timing wise. We're looking at the fine details of what to look for first, and the good news of the gospel being preached to all the entire nations. And this isn't just saying, have you heard of Christ? Do you know who Christ is? This is the actual truth about the kingdom, the truth about reality, the truth about what the grand delusion is, all those deep truths being spread to the entire world. That happens at the very beginning. It doesn't happen at the end. All right, that's an important thing. So, we are putting forth the proposition regarding the restrainer that it's censorship. We'll be getting to that. So then the red, black, pale horse equals satanic backlash or judicial woes. So Christ leading with the truth leads to the red, black, and pale horse. What's that backlash, the judicial woes, wars, scarcity, and death rise as the world resists the gospel advance. The treacherous dealer, the covenant with money, sits beside, not equal to the white rider. Keep Daniel 9:27 and Isaiah 21:2 as the human political track that reacts to the upheaval, a peace framework that will be broken midpoint. So when you look at the Great Tribulation, it's a total of 7 years. The whole thing can be called the Great Tribulation. The first half is the half where the two witnesses are active, and we'll get into the details of everything that's expected during the first half. And then the second half is even worse than the first half. But I wouldn't say that the first half is not Great Tribulation. We'll talk about what's happening during that half. So the restrainer being taken away, the 2 Thessalonians 2:6-7. In our model, this can mean the end of suppression or censorship that had limited the white riders conquering by proclamation, fueling the global witness surge in the first half. Let's go ahead and get into detail about the restrainer a little bit. That comes from 2 Thessalonians 2:6, and we're going to go through these scriptures and comb them with a fine-tooth comb. And by using Bible Gateway here, we have an access to a whole list of translations here. You can see how different Bibles translate things differently. And we also have access to the interlinear and the lexicon to help us figure out what is the correct way to translate it. We can actually be Greek translators ourselves these days, believe it or not. And so these are the scriptures regarding the restrainer. And I'm going to tell you right now, most people think that what's being talked about right here is the Antichrist. And we're going to break it down, and I'm going to show you how it is not the Antichrist. So in the New International Version, it reads, "And now you know what is holding him back, so that he may be revealed at the proper time." You catch that? The word he. All of a sudden we have a masculine word right here. And one of the first things when I was researching the man of lawlessness, one of the first things ChatGPT pointed out to me was that between the verses of 6 and 7, we'll be going to that next, that the word here, the he, in this case, is supposed to be non-gender, right? It can be an it, a something, not a he or a she. And then in the 7th verse, all of a sudden it says, this now is referring to a he as in masculine. So we have to go through and look at this and see what is actually taking place. So to do that, we'll go to the interlinear first. And the interlinear says here, "And now that which is restraining, you know, for to be revealed him in his time." It says, okay, so we're saying, is this actually masculine? Right? Are we referring to a he? And when you click on the word, you get the Greek word, and it's a reflexive pronoun. So it can mean alone, her, own self, he, himself, his own, itself, one to another, or thine, own selves, that she had, their own selves, themselves, they, thyself, you, your, own, our conceits. It's referring to selves. So this word, when I grilled ChatGPT on it, all of a sudden it realized and recognized this isn't masculine. It's reflexive. So it points back to what was being talked about. Well, what was being talked about? And now that which is restraining, you know. So this is actually talking about a time period where people are going to find out what the restrainer is. Right? People are going to know what it is and to be revealed in its time, not his time. It's not masculine. Right? So let's go to the next verse, 2 Thessalonians 7. And here it says, "For the secret power of lawlessness is already at work, but the one who now holds it back will continue to do so till he is taken out of the way." All right. What does everybody think about this scripture? Everybody thinks that there's the man of lawlessness here that's acting as a restrainer, and then it's going to be that way until he's taken out of the way, right?
Yeah, well, most people that are quote unquote rapture people, they believe that it's them. They think it's them. They're the church. They're the what's restraining because of the blood of Jesus Christ. That's what the majority of the rapture watcher people think. And then you've got your standard biblical, Baptist preachers and what their interpretation is, and they generally look at that he maybe as Christ, right? There's definitely different interpretations of this, and most of those errors are put into place because of the mistransliteration from the actual original manuscripts, where it actually was a thing, and it wasn't a specific character. It was something that was actually taking place, being done.
Yeah, so let's go to verse 7 in the interlinear here. And we're going to be looking for any masculine terms here. It says, For mystery already is working of lawlessness, right? This isn't referring to the lawless, man of lawlessness. It's just saying the mystery already is working of lawlessness. And there is the one restraining it at present until out of the midst, it says he might be gone. So we've got two different things to check out here. The one, what is that? The one is just the, this, that one. Can be a he, she, it, etc. It is not gender specific. And then it says he might be gone. We've got the word 1096. And 1096 is to arise, be assembled, become, self, be brought to pass, become, to pass, continue, be divided, draw, be ended, fall, be finished, follow, be found, be fulfilled, grow, happen, have, be kept, be made, be married, be ordained. So it just means to cause to be, to generate. It's reflexive to become, come into being. So if we look back here, so far we've gone through these two verses that everybody's talking about the he. Who is the he? And there is no he. Right? We're looking at the original Greek and finding out that there's a thing, a something. Right? Let's go back and read this together again. And so the first verse that everybody talks about, and now you know what is holding him back. No, it's holding it back so that it may be revealed at the proper time. What can hold back something from being revealed at a certain time, brother?
The Creator.
Yeah, but how do you do it? Do you do it
So
with
it's through censorship.
Yeah, I mean you can't hold them back with pliers or a fish net or something like that. But the way you can hold something back to a certain time is through censorship. Right. And verse 7. So the secret power of lawlessness is already at work, but it is being held back. But the one who now holds it back, or the thing, so it's not
that holds, will continue to do so till it is taken out of the way. It's the correct transliteration.
Yeah, and so you can go through and check this yourself, read it word for word, look at the definitions of each of these words. I'm just going to point out that if you use the lexicon here, it might be a little bit more easy for you to read through it. It puts it a little cleaner where it would read in 7, for the mystery of lawlessness. Then you can look up the word lawlessness. That word is it's illegality. It's the violation of law. It's wickedness. So one of the things that we're looking for is a treacherous dealer that deals treacherously. This is a person that acts where they might put things out there that they break, right? They don't follow the law. Is already at work, only where it says he who now, right? When you actually look up the word, there's no he here. There's no he to it. Restrains, see, that's to hold fast or hold back, will do so until, once again, it says he is taken, but when you look at the word, there's no he there.
Yeah.
It's one of these reflexive words.
Everybody can completely see what you're saying, Jason. You made an excellent case here. Why else would it be mistranslated? Well, it was done so that you wouldn't realize that they've used censorship to stop the truth, to hide the actual meaning of the word and the plans, and so that you're not aware and prepared, right? That's what Azazel has done, to hold back the word. The censorship, the restrainer has been put in place for a very, very long time. And I'm glad that you put that back into its rightful position. And if anyone else can correct us or help us stand on a better position, please, the comment section below is for you. Let's move on. We got about 10 minutes till we'll get into our first song break. I don't know where you want to get to at your presentation.
Yeah, so here we have, how about the connecting of the removal of censorship as being the removal of the restrainer in a neuter sense, and this being the gateway for the white horse rider being able to go forth conquering with the truth regarding the kingdom of Christ getting shared throughout the whole world. Does that all fit together correctly?
Well, yeah, I mean, isn't the name Truth upon the white horse that Christ is riding? Is his name not Truth and Faithful One, Mighty King of everlasting peace? Right? His name literally is the truth. So Christ was the word, and the word is the truth, right? And it standeth at the gate and cries out for anyone that'll listen, right? And we can clearly see that the restrainer is what's holding back or censoring that truth.
So we're doing something differently than most people, just going from the scriptures. And I asked, does that all fit together correctly? And ChatGPT said, yes, that actually fits together very coherently, both linguistically and prophetically. If you're reading 2 Thessalonians 2, 6 through 7, and its neuter sense, what restrains, and combining it with the opening of Revelation 6, 1 and 2, and Matthew 24, 14, how it lines up step by step. So the restrainer as a neuter impersonal restraint, instead of being a he, right, being something like censorship, this allows the restrainer to be a principle or condition, not necessarily a being. The idea of suppression, censorship, or control of truth fits the neuter category, an environmental restraint rather than a personal one. So 2 Thessalonians 2:7, when that restraint is taken out of the way, only it who now restrains will do so until it is taken out of the way. If this constraint equals censorship or information control, its removal would mean truth is suddenly able to circulate freely, a prophetic release rather than an evil one. So then, the first seal, the white horse, the unrestricted advance of the gospel.
Which means, in layman's simple terms, continue, please.
In Revelation 6:2, the writer has a Stephanos, a victor's crown, and goes forth conquering and to conquer. Interpreting this writer as Christ's truth going forth aligns with Matthew 24:14. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world.
And it's not just that you believe in the blood of Christ. It's literally the truth from beginning to end, the Alpha to Omega, all of it, the truth, Christ's message. It's not what we humans want to just, oh, we heard this guy over on this YouTube channel say that this is what no, it is the truth. Christ is the truth, and his message is what goes forth to conquer. It will not be conquered forever.
Yeah, so once the censorship restrainer is lifted, the white horse of the kingdom's message rides freely, truth conquering deception. That would make sense.
Absolutely.
Having the victor's crown, right?
Absolutely. It makes complete sense. And again, we are here to be corrected. We constantly ask for the will to be done and that we be corrected if we are led wrong or astray in any way.
Then the 2, 3, and 4, the fourth seal effects, the red, black, and pale, equals the backlash.
Yeah.
So after the word spreads, resistance follows: war, famine, and death. That maintains the sequence of birth pains. The truth goes out, then the world reaction begins.
And you can see how it parallels Christ and John and the Great Tribulation and the two witnesses. You can see how Christ's words went out and what happened. The backlash. They killed Christ, right? Famine, war, and death, and the whole entire city of Jerusalem was destroyed, and all of its inhabitants were scattered to the four ends of the earth, to the corners. Now, we could see the complete reenactment, fulfillment again, also the second half of Daniel's weeks also being laid out here. There's many ways to look at this, but there's a simple chronological order that we're now seeing arise whereas that the white rider was generally thought of as the Antichrist. And now we see it clear and plain as day when we put the actual correct transliterated original manuscript meanings to it. It is the truth. It is Christ's truth that rides, just like when he returns on the white horse and he has a name that is Truth and King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And we can understand that it is his truth that rides. It's not, well, we're hoping still to see a trumpets in the sky coming up soon, and then a horse with Christ on it riding across the sky. And we're still looking forward to that.
That would be at the end of the Great Tribulation.
I know. But I mean, understanding how the truth is going to go, and it's not Jason's truth or Ron's truth. It's the truth.
Yeah. When we come back from this break, we'll get into breakdown of the actual pre-tribulation events, where we have both the biblical things that are all stated to take place. We have the extra canonical. Then we'll go through the first half of the Great Tribulation, biblical and extra canonical. Then we'll go through the second half of the Great Tribulation, biblical and canonical. But we can't do that until after this break. What do you say?
Let's go.
We are back and ready to dig into the 7-year prophetic timeline.
Exciting.
Yeah, so we're going to pull out all the details that we can. I encourage you all to do the research and see for yourself. But the Daniel 9:27 framework, the 1 week of 7 years, is what we're talking about. And what do we have before the Great Tribulation? We have the pre-tribulation, which is the time of Jacob's trouble, and the birth pains, which gets spoken of all throughout the Bible. All right, so there's the Great Tribulation, and then there's the lead up to it. And since we're not in the Great Tribulation, are we in the lead up to it? Well, let's look at the things real closely that we're supposed to be looking for. So the pre-tribulation birth pains, the first thing that we're going to be looking for is the removal of the restrainer. This isn't a person. We've seen that it's gender neutral and been mistranslated a bunch. Now, it also compares to Amos 8, 11, and 12, loss of truth, and then restoration in John 8, 32. So the lifted restraint allows the gospel to spread freely. What's the first thing that takes place in the book of Revelations regarding the Great Tribulation? The white horse rider.
So is that the answer to the poll then? Because for some reason the poll ended.
Oh,
yeah, sadly. And it definitely wasn't the white horse rider didn't win. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to put out this one more time here. If you search on the Awake Souls channel, you will find an extensive study into what is called the parabolic language. And in the parabolic language, you can interchange the name Christ, Yahushua, with the word and meaning of truth. So to show the symbol of that, the truth was put to death. Now, Christ told the disciples, I will always be with you, meaning the truth will always be with you, even until the end of the age and forever. So we can understand that, yes, the truth has been here all along, just like Christ. They never left. Christ and Yahweh, they're not Doolittle creators. They're here. They're doing their job, but it's been censored. It's been restrained. And we can see that, many channels are out here and churches and many places have gone forth and given power and money and the ability to deceive people. They followed their own vanity, their own wishes, their own hearts, when Jason simply put back into place the true understanding and meaning. The restrainer, or we can say simply the censorship of the truth, is going to be revealed, removed, and then the white horse rider, which is Christ, right? He comes back on a white horse dipped in blood with the name of truth and King of Kings and Alpha and Omega. We can see that the truth is going to have its ability to go forth. And what you had explained earlier is that the backlash of that, just like when Christ went forth with the truth, what did they do? They killed him. They censored him.
Yeah, if we were to continue in the 2 Thessalonians there, we get to the point where Christ slays the man of lawlessness with his words, with his truth.
With
right?
the truth, which is him. He is the truth and the life.
So not a physical death that's being talked about right there. It's a humiliation. It's a being put in place. Another thing that we're looking for is the treacherous deal, confirming a 7-year covenant with many. Hello, what is going on in the world right now?
We'll get to those links when you're done. we hopefully we'll get to there tonight. We do have some.
Right.
We'll get to that.
So this is important. This is part of the Daniel 9:27 prophecy, Isaiah 21 verse 2, Isaiah 28 14 through 18. The 1 Thessalonians 5:3, the peace and safety. And we'll be getting into those, like Ron said, after we finish this section. So another thing we're looking for is Damascus being destroyed and regional instability.
Jeremiah.
Isaiah 17:1 through 3, Jeremiah 49:23 through 27. So geopolitical spark preceding the covenant. So we get the white horse rider, then the red horse rider, where peace is taken away, world war, and we expect Damascus to be destroyed. But that wouldn't be the first thing to take place, right?
The truth.
So the seals 2 through 6, these are early judgments. I mean, there's more bigger judgments coming, but that's Revelation chapter 6, 3 through 17. Also Ezekiel 14, verse 21, Joel 2, verse 30 and 31, where all of these things talk about war, famine, death, martyrdom, and cosmic warnings.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, the sixth seal is the sign in the sun, moon, and stars. Number 6, global witness finishes the birth pains phase.
Yeah, we don't. It's not a globe, but continue.
Yeah, worldwide, yes.
Worldwide.
So that is the Matthew 24:14, where this good news of the kingdom must be preached throughout the entire inhabited earth before the end comes. So it says right in the scriptures before, right?
Yep. Let's take a pause there again. You know, sometimes it vexes me a little bit when somebody will say that, oh, that just means the name, Jesus is going to get told to the, four corners of the earth. No, it literally means the truth. All of it is going to get spread throughout the realm. You're not going to be able to hide from it. Now, we're going to see what that actually does create.
Yeah, you have some corresponding scriptures at Habakkuk 2:14 and Psalms 19:4. So that was the section that's the pre-tribulation signs, the birth pains, the time of Jacob's trouble, the things that would happen before the Great Tribulation actually kicks off. Now we're going into the first half of the Great Tribulation. That's, 0 through 3.5. And most people don't really get this, but temple worship is restored under covenant protection. So according to the Bible, Daniel 8:11 through 13 and 9:27a, the sacrifices do resume in Jerusalem during the beginning half of the Great Tribulation when the two witnesses are there, right?
Well, they've sort of started to do that now, just so people know that we don't have enough time again to go through everything, but there is the temple administration in Israel, in Jerusalem, and they've been preparing and setting up the way for all this to actually take place.
This is also talked about in Thessalonians 2:4 and Haggai 2:9. Another thing that has to happen before the actual destruction begins, if you read these scriptures, the 144,000 are sealed. If you look at the graphic that we have, see, that is, you look at this graphic, before the destruction comes, all right, you have the sealing of the elect. All right, because the scriptures say to seal them before the winds are released, before the destruction is sent out. There is a sealing and protecting, just like in the times of Noah. So Noah and his family were sealed and protected, and they went through the tribulation of that time, which was a worldwide flood. The Israelites, they were protected when they were taken out of Egypt. They were protected. So in the same way, we always looking for the parallels. The ones that make it through the Great Tribulation, they're sealed and protected, and they're here, and they witness the destruction of the wicked.
Which is heavily spoken of in the book of Enoch. Heavily.
Another big thing that you're looking for during the first half of the Great Tribulation, the two witnesses minister for 1,260 days. You'll find that in Revelation 11, 3 through 6. You'll find it in Zechariah 4, 11 through 14, Malachi 4, 5 through 6, and the prophecy of repentance and warning. Repentance. All the Bible books are talking about the importance of repentance, asking for forgiveness for your sins, believing that Christ was the Savior that died for us. Through those means, we can be saved. We're talking about the first half of the Great Tribulation here. Trumpets 1 through 7. Right? Revelation chapters 8 and 9, Joel chapter 2, 1 through 11, Exodus 9 through 10. So this is ecological and spiritual plagues intensify. So all 7 trumpets during the first half of the Great Tribulation. Now, some other things that are taking place during this time. The beast system is forming. Remember, the 2 witnesses are doing their thing from Jerusalem, but at the same time, there are armies being gathered against them.
Yeah.
Right? They want to mount up and come against them. So the beast system is forming. That's where the 10 kings are aligning. That's Revelation chapter 13, 1 through 2, Daniel 7, 23 and 4, for Ezra 11 and 12. And so a global political structure emerges. Now, there's also during this time period a rise in martyrdom, cry for justice. Then we have that in Revelation 6, 9 through 12, Matthew 24, 9 through 13, Daniel 7, 21, 1st Enoch 62, 3 through 11. Definitely always check out Enoch, everybody.
And more. There's many multiple extra canonical books. Like I said, make sure you're subscribed and you hit the bell notification. We're going to be bringing forth more books. It just doesn't end. If you ask, more will be given.
Now, Seals 6, if you read about this one, that's Revelation 6, 12 through 17. This is a big one. This is a huge one. It's also talked about in Isaiah 13, 9 through 13, Joel 2, 31. And this announces the approach of wrath and ends the first half of the Great Tribulation. You'll notice that the 7th seal is just a period of silence before the mid-tribulation.
Terrifying moment, of all of creation, what's about to take place.
So then the midpoint here is when the abomination of desolation and the covenant is broken. So remember, the man of lawlessness makes a covenant with these nations for 7 years. It gets broken in the middle at the time that the 2 witnesses get killed. So that's talked about in the second half of Daniel 9, 27, 11, 31, 12, 11, and Matthew 24, 15. It's also mentioned in 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 through 4, the apocalypse of Elijah 2. And that's when the beast enters the temple, sets up an image, and demands worship. A lot of people have heard about that time period, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting time period that everybody is very excited for.
Yeah, and then so with that taking place, the 2 witnesses are killed. They rise after 3.5 days. That's talked about in Revelation 11, 7 through 12, Zechariah 4, 11 through 14. And this triggers worldwide fear and marks the midpoint of the Great Tribulation.
And it's so odd that you don't hear anybody talks about that. And, the 2 witnesses of the Creator and the Christ, I mean, it's a little bit important, I think,
Yeah, so then we get to the second half, and it's saying Great Tribulation proper. I mean, if you read all this, the first half of the Great Tribulation, that's Great Tribulation. The second half, that's just plain unsurvivable.
Even greater. Like
nobody survives.
Yeah, the greatest tribulation.
Yeah, so the beast reigns for 42 months. That's found in Revelation 13, 5 through 8.
I just want to take one pause here.
Yeah.
If the white horse rider is the truth, and that's what Christ is, he's the truth, the life, and the way, the beast must represent all lies and wickedness as a contrast, right?
What did it say about Satan? He's the father of the lie.
Yes.
Right.
So we can imagine that the beast's reign is just going to be nothing but lies and disinformation.
Yeah. We have Daniel 7, 21 through 25, 4 Ezra 11 through 12. And this is open. You might as well call global. They are the
globalists. You're right.
They are the globalists.
They don't know that there's 4 corners to the flat stationary realm that we live on.
Also, the false prophet and mark of the beast system. So everybody gets caught up in these disinformation, the psyops that the New World Order runs. there's not just one Antichrist. If you read the scriptures, it's very clear that there are three. There's two beasts. There's a false prophet. So the false prophet and the mark of the beast system from Revelation 13:11 through 18, Daniel 3:1 through 6, the apocalypse of Elijah 4. So this is complete economic control and idolatry. This is when you can't buy or sell. This is happening after the middle of the Great Tribulation, not before. It's important for people to understand that. But once you pass the middle of the Great Tribulation, the Antichrist, beast, false prophet is going to demand worship. And if you don't give it, you're going to lose your head.
Off with your head.
But it's better to be martyred. It is.
Absolutely. You get a crown. You get to rule.
Yeah. So then there's war in heaven at this time period. After the middle of the Great Tribulation, there's war in heaven, and Satan and the demons are cast down. This is the time period where the woman flees to the wilderness and the beast chases after, but the earth swallows up the wave that the beast sent. That's found in Revelation 12:7 through 12, Dan 12:1, Job 1:6 through 12. So a spiritual barrier is removed, and the dragon targets Israel here on earth. They are cast down and know they have but a short time.
And that doesn't mean Benjamin Netanyahu and Zionists. That means the descendant spiritually of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob.
Yeah, so here the remnant flees to the wilderness for 1,260 days. Notice it didn't say they got harpazoed up to heaven to sit at a table, the party table.
Come back riding on horses like some kind of warriors, even though they bowed out through all the hard times.
No, unfortunately, they must not have read the Bible, because the remnant flees to the wilderness after this abomination of desolation takes place.
It doesn't say heaven there.
Satan and the demons are cast down from heaven. That takes place in Revelation 12, Matthew 24, Isaiah 26:20, Micah 2:12 through 13. And this is supernatural protection for the faithful here on earth. Here on earth. Then we have the seventh trumpet sound, and heaven reigns. That's Revelation 11:15 through 19, Psalms 2:1 through 9, Zechariah 14:9. And this is about the announcing of Christ's kingdom and then the opening of the bowls. Ooh. Bowls are bad. The 7 bowls of wrath are poured out in Revelation 15 through 16, talked about in Isaiah 24, Joel 3:13 through 16, Exodus 7 through 12. This is complete wrath sequence ending with "it's done." It's done. During the second half of the Great Tribulation is the fall of Mystery Babylon. That's in Revelation 17 and 18. Isaiah 13, Jeremiah 50 through 51, and 2nd Baruch 70. So the world system collapsed in 1 hour. This is the end of Mystery Babylon, and we've been showing everybody that Mystery Babylon is the Vatican and all of its tentacles. It is false religion. It's the source of all the secret societies that are running around. You know, the Freemasons, Jesuits, Rosicrucians, Knights Templars. Even atheists were all created by the Vatican. We also have, during the second half of the Great Tribulation, Armageddon. All right, this is a big war that's talked about in the Bible in Revelation 16:13 through 16 and 19:17 through 19, Zechariah 12 through 14, Joel 3:9 through 14, and 1 Enoch 56:7 and 8. This is when the nations gather to fight the returning king. 24, the final cosmic darkness and earthquake. Getting towards the end here, Revelation 16:18 through 20, Matthew 24:29, Isaiah 34:4, Haggai 2:6, Joel 2:31, heaven and earth shake before the appearing. And then the visible return of Christ in glory. This is This is the riding on the clouds with the army of those that there is a group that does get harpazoed. And so
they get martyred.
Yeah. The Revelation 19, 11 through 16, Matthew 24, 30 through 31, Zechariah 14, 3 through 9, Daniel 7, 13 and 14, 2nd Ezra 13, 25 through 52. Christ rides forth with heavenly armies.
Heavenly armies too.
Yeah. Then the beast and false prophet are destroyed and thrown in the lake of fire. Revelation 19, 19 through 20, Isaiah 14, 15 through 20. So political and religious powers ended. Done. Satan's bound for 1,000 years. You can find that in Revelation 20, 1 through 3, Isaiah 24, 21 through 22. And deception ceases during the kingdom age. It's over. Then there's the resurrection, righteous and judgment of nations. This is Revelation 24 through 6, Matthew 25, 31 through 46, Daniel 12, 2, 1st Enoch 62 and 63, 2nd Ezra 7, 26 through 35. The saints reign with Christ. Sheep and goats are separated. Then Messiah's kingdom is established on earth, finally. So Revelation 24 through 6, Isaiah 2, 2 through 4, 11, 1 through 9, Micah 4, 1 through 5, Zechariah 14, 16 through 21, Jubilees 23, 26 through 30, Christ rules from Jerusalem, peace and knowledge fill the world. A quick summary, the first half is 1,260 days or 42 months. The second half, the same amount. It's a full 7-year time period. The birth pains is when the restrainer is lifted, truth is released, world covenant of false peace, and initial seals. The first half has temple worship, 144,000 sealed, the 2 witnesses, trumpet judgments. The midpoint is the abomination of desolation. The 2 witnesses are killed. The beast is revealed. The second half, the beast rules for 42 months. There's the mark of the beast system, the bowls of wrath, Babylon falls, the war of Armageddon. And then the climax is cosmic darkness, Christ's visible return, the beast destroyed, and the kingdom established. There it is, everybody.
It's great. I mean,
there's been so much confusion, but it is laid straight and you can double check all the scriptures.
Yeah. And we're probably going to get more revelation too. So we expect more. This is just step 1. This was an emergency podcast here, Wednesday, October 15th of the Gregorian 2025. Very well likely 5999, right? We're very well on the doorstep. Or 599, what is it? 3, right? just want to make sure we get things correct. And when we don't, we want to be corrected. So again, we see these things coming upon the earth, and I'm excited for that. And I want the truth unabridged. I don't want it to be restrained. I don't want it to be censored. I want it to go forth and free. And unfortunately, it is the truth that divides. It creates a division, and those that want to follow the truth are going to, and those that want to hold the lies are going to continue in that. And that is what creates the separation, then the sealing, and then the TGT kicks off. And we're very excited for that, Jason. I am.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and take one more break, and then we'll come back and you can show us all the signs that we have that these things are taking place right now.
Let's go.
Sometimes we go too far to know which side is wearing the disguise. I thought my fight was justified. Ignite it all to keep you alive. Backfired, it was all a dream. Flatline
And we are back. I'm going to go ahead and get us out of here.
And I'm ready. You let me know when I'm on the screen, and we're going to get into what we've been seeing in the last week and how incredible. We're not going to be on screen here?
It doesn't work that way.
Okay, that's fine. I just need to know I can move my mic a little closer, and I can maybe don't have to talk as loud. But once we're ready to go, I'm going to get into what we have seen in this last week. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Actually, it's only been a few days. It was 2 days ago. It's Wednesday. It was Monday that all this went down. Incredible.
You are presented.
So let's kick it off. Let's talk about the Golden Dawn, trying to usher in what is quote unquote his golden age.
And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect, and I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time.
Brilliant point in time.
Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel.
The golden age of Israel. What I want to draw your attention to is the star of Moloch or Remphan here. This has nothing to do with David, and actually is the star of Remphan, Babylonian Cananism, right? And what we can see here is it's a 6-pointed star. Trump talking about the golden age of Azazel or Satan. What is the difference between the golden age of the millennial reign versus the satanic golden age? Well, number one, right? The golden age of Israel, as he proclaimed in front of the 6-pointed star of Remphan, is ruled by the Antichrist. It's a false peace. It's one world religion to the Antichrist. Destruction of creation, DNA genetically modified. Those that try to save their lives. What does it say about those, Jason?
Oh, we'll lose it.
They're going to lose their lives. Fallen angels revealed, fallen angel and occult knowledge poured out, enslavement under the AIB system, Azazel, or commonly known as Satan, in control, and Satan defeated at the second coming of Christ. What's the actual golden age or millennial reign? Well, ruled by King Yahushua, not this name. True peace, pure worship of Christ by all nations, restoration of creation, martyred, and those that give their lives end up getting glorified bodies, right? Not at the beginning of the tribulation, because everything's already kicked off. And as far as we can see, no one's been harpazoed. Heavenly angels will be revealed and what they've done and who they are. Yahweh's true wisdom and love is poured out. This is a big one. Big one. 8, freedom and justice under Christ's righteous rule. This is, oh boy. Oh, I can't wait. This is what we've been waiting for. And Azazel defeated and put into the pit for 1,000 years to be released one more time to be allowed to test those who make it through the millennial reign. This is what the difference is. What Donald's saying here. Let's hear it one more time.
Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel.
The golden age of Israel.
And the golden age of the Middle East.
Of the Middle East, huh? Of Azazel with the 6-pointed Remphan star. Okay, that's what we're going to get into. Let's keep going here. We've had the Donald Trump's being called Cyrus the Great has risen. They're so people in the Middle East and people that aren't, Baptist or Catholic actually understand in reincarnation, like we've been saying here, as John the Baptist was reincarnated Elijah, Christ Adam. So what we have here is Trump, and they're saying that he's Abraham. And what they do is they script their narrative to run parallel. So Trump visited Sukkot. This was on Monday, right? Was that Simchat Torah, they call it, the 8th and great day? Abraham.
Yeah.
Did you want to comment? Yeah,
no,
right?
No,
right?
that's just, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Abraham also visited in Sukkot, negotiated Gaza's future. Abraham also negotiated Sodom's future, released hostages, survived assassination, survived the pit of fire, married three times. Middle East leaders bring him gifts. Middle East leaders brought him gifts. Israel's view of him after him as their father, and Israelis view him as their father. So what we're seeing is you've got the counterfeit character here, the Avrahamic counterfeit. There was no V in the Paleo Hebrew, so don't be fooled when people try to say Abraham. So what do we have him doing? Well, this very well looks like a covenant being signed, and boy, you can really hear that covenant signing. He's being held up here, the Honorable Donald J. Trump, right?
Okay.
They've got the mic just cranked on this.
This took 3,000 years.
3,000 years. No. 2,000 years, right?
To get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up.
It's a lie.
It's going to be broken in the middle.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
He's the treacherous dealer who's lying. Dealing treacherously.
You can use my pen if you want. Have a pen? And use mine?
I think he's got a pen. He doesn't have a marker, though. Only Trump got the Sharpie. Here he goes again.
Okay.
Someone's calling to let them know that, hey, this isn't going to work. It's not going to work.
The peace is not going to last.
It was probably you on the phone, wasn't it, Jason? They wouldn't answer to you. So you can see a group of Middle Eastern men, all these powerful men in the background, making their deals, doing their hand claspy thing, as you can see here, right? You see them doing it. Jordan, Bahrain, EU, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, everybody's here. And it continues. So crazily enough, we have Donald Trump on his plane flying home after all that. And it was just insanity to hear what he had to say.
I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven.
He was asked, are you going to get into heaven? Let's see it again.
I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound.
Not heaven bound, huh? So, ladies and gentlemen, Earth is where the promise is. The kingdom of heaven is here on earth. Rather, the kingdom of heaven is a repentant spirit that moves through each of us and moves us into the will of he who created us. It is not a place up in the sky, for if it was, the birds and these planes would beat us to it. It is not in the bottom of the ocean, because the fish would surely beat us to it. It is rather a place within inside of you, and it is that of a repentant heart.
I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven, but I've made life a lot better for a lot of people. And, as an example, had the election of 2020 not been rigged, you would have millions of people living just in Russia, Ukraine alone. That would have never happened. And it didn't happen for 4 years. And I knew Putin very well. It was the apple of his eye. All the things I've said would have never happened. We had an incompetent administration. We had an incompetent president. And
he's just constantly saying this nonsense stuff. He's not heaven bound. Trump declares the dawn of a new Middle East as all 20 living hostages released. Here they are celebrating again. This was in Israel. This is not in the United States. This is in Jerusalem that they're doing all of this. It's just insanity. The Jerusalem Post. And so God is the short form word of the name Gadriel, who was the demon that tricked Eve, led by Azazel spirit, in the garden. They're calling Gadriel the peacemaker, the builder, right? Who was Nimrod? Nimrod was the mighty builder, reincarnated most likely we think the spirit of Cain, who is now inhabiting Trump. Not to say that he is the one and only beast. He's just filled with that spirit. And we've got other characters here. Look at the shape of the Knesset. Doesn't this not look like an all-seeing eye?
Yeah.
I mean, hello. This is not a holy place. This is very satanic.
Almost as bad as the Vatican.
Yeah, well, yeah, not as bad because the Vatican's much worse. Here you got Shapiro. He's here repping up the Star of Moloch, the six-pointed star. He was in attendance, and many other people were in attendance, and you just didn't know about it. But here we got the peace and security, peace and safety. These words are just echoing out from one end of the kingdom here to the other. Egyptian president says Trump's Mideast proposal is last chance for peace in the region. You know, it says down here, U.S. President Donald Trump's Mideast proposal represents, they said, quote, the last chance, end quote, for peace in the region. He reiterated his call for a two-state solution, which is never going to work. That's why how they've set things up is they're not going to divide it. I know that the rapture watchers say when they divide the land, the bombs fly and we fly, and it's all just nonsense. But they are saying this. Egyptian leader El-Sisi is echoing this out, and we're seeing these types of things take place. More than 20 world leaders, it says, more than 20 world leaders attended the summit, including King Abdullah of Jordan, French president and British prime minister, and the Canadian prime minister. And crazy stuff took place.
People in this city still calls us, in the words of Scripture, the turn from evil and do good, to seek peace and pursue it. So he still whispers truth into the hills and knolls and valleys of his magnificent creation.
Did he say nose?
And he still writes hope into the hearts of his children all over the world. And that is why even after 3,000 years of pain...
It's so wrong, okay? 70 AD, if anyone does the math, wasn't 3,000 years ago, right? Or is he saying that the 1,000 years prior to that when Rome invaded and took over the lordship of the land? Here we've got, so the Canadian prime minister, and the funny thing is, no one's really bringing out, is Trump was going around calling Benjamin Netanyahu president.
Mm-hmm.
He's a prime minister.
So you have Armenia and you have Bahrain, you have Canada. It's so great to have, in fact, the president called and he wanted to know if it's worthwhile. He knew exactly what it was. He knew the importance.
So he's a prime minister. Trump is it's calculated. He's calling them presidents for a reason.
Where's Canada, by the way? Where are you?
And remember, out of these 20 kingdoms and these nations that we're hearing about, 10 will rise, right? And then they all war.
Where are you?
The scriptures will be fulfilled.
Of this.
He's looking, and Starmer got super called out and shunned, and
Said, I want to be there.
He wants to call out Carney. Where's Carney?
I mean, they heard about it. And these are not people that can do that very easily. They have pretty big schedules, to put it in mind. The most powerful people.
The most powerful people, huh?
I appreciate you being here
Rulers of wickedness.
very much, Mr. President. Fantastic.
So he's over
Fantastic.
here. Right? He's over there. You're going to see him. There he is. He finally gets him to come out. So Carney comes over with a smart-ass comment. They've got the mic on. I don't know if you could hear it. He said, I'm glad you upgraded me to president. He's been saying that to all the prime ministers. And watch how clever and quick he comes back with a response. At least I didn't say governor. And they laugh. But ladies and gentlemen, you know who had governors? Who did Rome? Jason, you are very on point tonight. And I didn't preface that. I did not warn you that I was going to make that relation to it, but that's what Trump did. And here's more.
United Kingdom. Where's United Kingdom? Where's my friend? Where? Come here.
He's like, watch this.
Is everything going good? Very good. It's very nice that you're here. These people all came in like
He just steps right in front of him.
20-minute notice. And I
Party
think it's
laughs.
fantastic. And we have so many others, and just so many others. United
He
Kingdom.
just totally shunned them, and it's just all big laughs and smiles. And she was told by one of the prime ministers or presidents that she needs to quit smoking because she stunk like cigarette smoke. And then you got this hot mic again. This is the king or prime minister or president of Indonesia. They're talking about a deal. Security, safe. Can I meet Derek? So the treacherous dealer treacherously, he's literally making deals here on the stage. And then they had him stand in front of this board, and they had the big wrestling match with Macron. But here's him with Canadian Prime Minister, the governor, 51st state. Some say that he's actually Burns from The Simpsons, right? Very similar look. Probably a Rothschild descendant, right? He was the banker for England. Also worked in the United States, and his company Brookfield actually is a tax haven. He's profiting largely off his country. A little bit more.
We're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place.
Secure.
It's a very important place in the world. Means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, and this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times, that World War III will begin in the Middle East.
What's this, Jason? World War III?
Not going to happen. That's
not going to happen.
Going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to happen. There won't be World War III, hopefully at all. But it's not going to start in the Middle East.
It's not going to start in the Middle East.
We're not going to have a World War III if we're smart. There'll never be a World War III. Our work begins right here and right now.
So you can hear what he's saying. If you read between the lines, is they're going to start World War III somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
Last one.
And let me also give a very special thanks to someone who truly loves Israel. In fact, loves it so much that my daughter converted. My daughter converted.
So here's my daughter converted. Listen to this.
My daughter converted. My daughter converted.
They're all like, what is he saying? I mean, let's hear it one more time. And when he means converted, that means that she denounced Christianity, right? And took up Judaism.
Converted.
Yeah, she was Antichrist.
Yeah.
My daughter converted. I didn't know this was going to happen.
And Jared's nose is getting a little bit there like Geppetto. He didn't know this was going to happen. Yeah, right.
And Ivanka's here.
Wow. Unbelievable. Again, we want to point out he's announcing the golden age, right? The golden age of Israel, he had said. Let's hear it one more time.
Israel and the golden age, like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East.
So, I mean, there was that, and then we've seen all the other agreements. He's not getting into heaven, right? And then we did see the signing, right? You saw him with the pen and the marker, and you could clearly hear him signing. It wasn't like it was loud. Him signing all those documents. I guess I closed that link. But so again, we just want to make sure that everybody, they're calling him Abraham, right? All these different things. But here it is right here. Like you can literally hear they cranked the ASMR. Watch, you hear Trump. There's literally
definitely get that good marker sound.
They really wanted to make sure that you heard, you could see, you hear. Here's Macron. You can see and hear this covenant being created. Now, will there be a commitment to this covenant? Absolutely. Absolutely. Have we seen the White Horse Rider? Have we seen the truth uncensored and flying throughout the kingdom? Not yet. Not yet. Jason, you can take the screen share back. I'll move my mic out of the way.
I don't really have anything to take it back to.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that I did put up the poll again.
Yeah.
So you've got a few more minutes to vote here, everybody. We've gone through the timeline of what takes place. So the 4 options, you've got the Declaration of Peace and Security that's up at 56%. Damascus, a ruinous heap. Well, that's not going to happen until after the Peace and Security Declaration, right?
Yep.
The World War III, the Red Horse Rider, that's not going to happen until after the White Horse Rider.
That's right.
So really the only question we have is there a declaration of peace and security before the White Horse Rider or after? That's it.
There's Jason calling again. Hey, pick up the phone. Hey, we got a message for you.
Yeah, so
they're all going to go through with it. There's nothing we can tell them to stop them.
That right there is the best organizing of the events, the end times eschatology we could possibly do for you. The end times eschatology chart is in the description box, and along with under fundamental truth number 5, the true Hebrew calendar. So go ahead and give those things a check out, everybody. And I'm going to be looking for the White Horse Rider.
The removal of censorship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we hope to amplify it, to be the loudest speakers of it, so much so that every single living human hates us for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that could happen. That could happen.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure all the links to reach out if you want to get connected, if you want to get involved, all the links are in the description box below. Shout out to the Goldsmith, always for bringing up good music. And the most shout out to the moderator with the most, YD in the chat. Thank you very much. Pointing out correctly, Trump also said the apple of his eye, which is generally taken as a term used to talk about the sin of the garden. But we're going to be bringing forth more evidence again that it was a fig. It was the fig leaves that they then adorned themselves with to hide their nakedness, for they had known that they had sinned. They had felt guilt, but it was a fig that they bit into, not an apple. So make sure you tune in, because I don't know if it'll be this Sunday, but one of these Sundays, maybe next weekend, good chance that it'll be not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, we're going to get into a 3-part book from the Maccabees, not the regular Maccabees that you know, a new version of this. And it's not new, but it's brought back, and it's kind of terrifying, but it needs to be said.
Yeah, it talks strongly about repentance, and that is a big, important topic.
Yes.
So there is the new poll up to vote again. Get your vote in, everybody, before the podcast's over. Brother, where's the only place people are going to find this content?
Only on the Hawashai News Networks.